First of all, thrillers in general, which, just as a side note, in my definition, all horror movies that are well done are thrillers because they just have more blood. Because they need to have those same twists, the turns, the reversals, and an antagonist who's driving the story. That's the definition of a thriller. That's pretty much the definition of a horror movie too. Again, you just add more kills or more blood. So for me, the audience for horror movies is surprisingly hard to nail down, mostly because so many of the rentals and streaming buyers, it's impossible to know who's actually seeking them out. However, the common belief is that over 50% of horror movie watchers are female. And it is a common agreement that PG-13 in particular bring out the young women. It's a perfect slumber party prospect for a bunch of girls to be able to watch a PG-13 movie, because most of those films are less about the blood and the gore and much more about the creepiness, the hair on the back of your neck standing up, the tense moments that give you the good boo scare that you want, and you can scream and your popcorn goes flying. So in general, most people who are marketing and selling movies for horror are women, and then hopefully the men will show up. Guess what? 15, 20 years ago, there weren't that many interesting characters that drew women to certain genres. Now the characters are getting better. Now the stories are getting deeper. They're challenging us. It's not so formulaic anymore. So let's see women do work in all genres. I think it's pretty easy to do. There's a really interesting Belgian director. Her name is HELENE CATTET. She's pretty interesting as well. So she had a movie come out last year that really made an impact, and I'm looking for great things from her. There's also these really smart, crazy twins, these women out of Canada. They had a movie that won a lot of festivals a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. Their big movie is called American Mary, and the women are Jen and Sylvia SOSKA, and I cannot wait to see what they do next. Audiences for thrillers really range based on the topic of what your protagonist, what your hero is trying to uncover. There have been some marvelous thrillers set in high school. Brick is one of them. However, there's also amazing adult audience thrillers. In general, people think of thrillers as adults audience, female and male, because it's a thinking man's genre, and you need to be able to pay attention to multiple threads in the storylines. You need to be able to track devious twists and turns of characters you once trusted in who are now turning out to be completely untrustworthy. But in general, I would say, honestly, it all depends what your hero is uncovering. I think that I've run into plenty of high school students who love thrillers and who watch them religiously and appreciate that they're being challenged more than they are by the typical comic book adaptation. When people ask me, because I have had the opportunity to produce a number of studio-level horror movies, which again, I think are thrillers, what it takes as a female to be working in that genre. And honestly, my answer is pretty straightforward. First of all, let's be honest. In most genres, women are underrepresented. So across the board, we need more women doing that. But separate from that, I always get taken aback when people ask me if it takes a special skill from a woman, what are they bringing to the table in the horror or the thriller marketplace? And for me, no, what we bring is a great story. Women are good storytellers, men are good storytellers. And if you have the ability to create a world that is unrelentingly, unstoppably scary and intense, you should probably be working in horrors and thrillers.